Hello everybody, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. I see James, I see Magus, I see the Panicked Monk, and your boy Nobody. Got quite the crew, quite the motley crew out there today. How you guys doing? Magus picked up a new retro game to play on Steam, on stream. Yeah, sorry I haven't been able to make many of them this week. I've been super busy, but I do have your VODs all queued up in my watch later queue on YouTube. I've been excited to watch them. If you guys are into like those old turn-based JRPGs, Magus has been playing a lot of them on his Twitch channel, so I would go. The link is in the description below. You just want to scroll down a little bit and click on it, leave him a follow. Finishing up Final Fantasy VI, hopefully today, tomorrow. How did your did you finish up Chrono Cross? Ah, crap, this is the last one. Wrong save. We'll get there. Your boy Nobody. My birthday was on the 8th. I want my own build tab on Discord, but might not be a bad idea, huh? Yeah, I think you're the only one posting on those your builds there. Yeah, let me see how I can organize that. I might be able to do that for you. Got plenty of slots in there. Let's see here. 40th, 30th. Cross gave me some issues. Apparently Steam itself has some issues with the game. Even vanilla is crashing randomly. That's a heartbreaker, man. That sucks. Oh man, we are joining 40th in the midst of a black book run here. All right, well, we can deal with that. We have to fill up our enchanted stuff here. Hey, we got Tom in the audience here today too. Yeah, so I don't have any news or any like mods this week that really caught my eye. If there's something you want me to showcase, let me know. I'll take a look at it. Otherwise, I thought we'd just, you know, piss fart around with our warrior build here. He's level like 71 now, 72. And I have lifted the level 50 restriction on him, so there's a lot more perks here than I had in the official build, and I'm still trying to flesh out these. Well, smithing is a good one to have for an all-purpose warrior, so there are things that I can do in here to increase my top-end damage, which is basically the name of the game. Once you hit the armor cap, then it's all about just focusing on damage for the higher difficulty levels, right? Especially with Wildcat, when you're able to set the difficulty even like higher, so that enemies take less damage from you and you take more damage from them. So yeah, just trying to get that high-end damage once you start capping out all your resistances, all your armor and everything. It's just how fast can you do damage, as defense as an offense situation, you know? So I've been working on that. There's still a lot of perks here that I would like to get. So the thought is, you know, as long as I'm still enjoying playing these builds, I'm going to keep them going for like, you know, up to level 100 and beyond. I still have in the two-handed trees all these like sub trees for weapons that I feel like I'm using the most. There's still some top-end damage left on the table with these. Same with one-handed. If I find myself using swords more often than not, or like a war axe in this case, yeah, I'll be focusing on those. Actually, the war axe subtree in Ordinator with the bleed damage, it seems a little disappointing on paper. I feel like in practice it feels a little better. Ignoring armor is always great. You got to get those staggers though. So I'll start perking into these once I get the perks for them. But of course, once you get high level, the leveling slows down, right? Tom is here. Tom. Lucy J. Robin. That doesn't sound familiar either, but I want to see the context of that. Oops. Panicked Monk. Okay, if it's not lore rim character preset number, then It's a translation or sex mod. Yeah, there's been a lot of booby and waifu mods up on Nexus. Yeah, not great. I mean, I'm in a weird place with mods too. So a lot of them are like immersion mods and like city and town overhaul mods and like dialogue overhauls and things like that. And I'm more into the, like the gameplay aspect of things and making my character look cool through like armor and weapons and stuff. So I'm more focused on those types of mods, right? Gameplay mods and weapons and armor mods at this point. Nothing else is really catching my eye too much. It seems like a lot of mods on the front page and the trending mods and stuff like that are like mods that are meant to go into bigger like immersion overhauls, like things like lore rim and things like that. So I'm not saying the well is running dry, because if you're looking beyond the trending mods or going deeper down into that list, you can find some good stuff that's new that people haven't seen yet. It just seems like Wabbajack has taken over that algorithm for the front page stuff a little bit, and then all the the sexy stuff, which is always up there. The well ran dry a while ago. Oh, yeah, you're talking either about mod lists or paid mods. I don't know. There's still some good stuff out there. The old names are still doing it. It's just, there's a lot of just, there's a lot of stuff flooding the front page that the real stuff isn't kind of percolating up. Plus, they had the same 2 collections up on the main page taking up space the last 2 months. Yeah, I've seen those. Okay, let's see. Oh, I forgot to see what Joe was talking about. Lucy, whatever. Been watching someone new, well, new to me. Lucy J. Robin is her YouTube Twitch channel, though I haven't seen any of her Twitch streams yet. She's doing a first-time vanilla Skyrim playthrough, and it's honestly been pretty fun to watch. Okay, well, let's see if we... Lucy J. Robin.
So many people say that this game is their favorite game of all time, but also that they've never
I see why Joe
it.
is watching.
So
She's pretty cute. All right, here's the. We're not going to sit here and watch the whole playlist or anything, but here's the link in case anybody wants it. Oh yeah, Joe already got it. Cool. All right. Silent, how's it going, buddy? Even though Biggie is looking to retire soon from modding after version 3, yeah, there'll be somebody that comes in and takes his place at some point. Honestly, I feel like Magus and I have talked about it. It seems like that list is going to die if it's not being updated constantly. But I feel like the list might be better off for it if it just gives itself time to breathe and be refined and, give people a chance to learn how to use the list as it is. People have been playing vanilla Skyrim now for, let's see, almost 14 years now. And there's still new builds that people are coming up with. Some of them have a lot of overlap. But Skypothesis, they put out a survival build this month, but the 3 months leading into that for 2025, I thought their builds were really good, and those are all vanilla. So, yeah, I feel like with a vastly overhauled Skyrim, like something that Lorerim does, there's a lot of life left in it still if people remain interested in it, if it's not being updated, Scaly butt sex. Stick with Lex, he's been around since LD. Well, yeah, and then you do it all manually too. I don't think she has a Wabbajack anymore, so it's more easily modified if and when you want to get in there and move some stuff around. Try playing a Worshipper of Periite on survival mode. Oof, that sounds pretty rough. Although easier to get those diseases, I guess. Harder to actually deal with them. Ghoulified or my basic for Requiem, although all I need is just a tweak mods for 3 tweaks. Yeah, I think if we all like just kind of tried to actively avoid the bloat and reduced the number of mods that we really actually needed, I think none of us would be playing those, you know, 3,000 plus mod count Wabajacks anymore. It's just so much of it is just bloat and probably doesn't matter to most of who's playing, you know. Okay, I don't remember what black book this is. I've been playing through Solstheim with Fortius here. Maybe we should look at the equipment a little bit here. These are I think it's the Knight set from, it's like Nord War or something like that. It's one of the armor replacers. This might be like a Silverhand heavy set that I've repurposed because it looked knightly, like a warrior. And I like the helm there too. And then I'm also using a shoulder mantle for the first set, just to kind of flesh out the shoulders a little bit, because it seemed like it was missing pauldrons. The shoulders seemed a little skinny, especially with the big helmet there, and that's probably fairly realistic because helmets had to be big and beefy to actually do their job back in the day. So let me show you guys what it looks like without. Do I not have that favorited? So maybe I don't. Mage fur, shoulder cape, bear. So another thing, I think the last time I played the warrior here too, the Warbringer perk, where whenever you unsheath your weapon, the rallying standard wasn't popping out. That was because I was using the light armored version of this shoulder cape. Once I switched it to unarmored, then my armor rating shot back up, and my rallying standard started popping out again. So that's good. That ended up being just because there was a light armor piece thrown into the mix, which borked all of my heavy armor only perks. So I should be even stronger this go around than the last time I played this one. My rally standard started popping out. Oh man, I wish my rally standard were that feisty these days. To be young again. Got a rallying standard in my pants. You guys never matured past 13. Never grow up. Yeah, so this is without the first set shoulder piece. And yeah, he just looks a little scrawny in the shoulder areas. If we're playing like a badass warrior, we gotta have bigger shoulders than that, right? Gotta have those bowling balls up there. Freaks in chat, yeah, always. Modded version of Fudge Muppet's Viper build. I'm guessing that's like a poison. Is it like a assassin, or is it like a mage, or both? Like a Nightblade. I don't remember. I'm sure I've seen it. I thought I saw all of Fudge Muppet's builds at some point or another, but there are a lot of builds out there. Especially if it's Fudge Muppet's, probably older. Probably been a while since I've seen it. Be an adult, you. Pretty much. Welcome in, Haster. Hope you're doing well. Well, I mean, we need is some Falmer Blood Elixir, and our standards would be so rallying. Yes, indeed. Make love like a saber cat. Well, it looks like we're pretty close to the end here. See what kind of reward we get for this. Of course, nobody talking about, yeah, nobody's having his own conversation about different builds, and we're all talking about rallying standards in our pants. Oh, we're not at the end here. This was just chapter 1. Now we're going to chapter 2. Okay, so for tactics on this, I'm going to keep Spellbreaker active, because there are these seekers that pop up out of nowhere, and they will bombard you with high-level magic that hurts a lot, even if you have your resistance is capped out like I do, it's still gonna hurt. It's not gonna be like a one-shot kill or anything, but the more magic we can block, the better. And I can dodge it with like a two-handed weapon or something, but yeah, so equipment here, you can see I barely took any damage. That's better than the last time I streamed with this guy because of the heavy armor / knight armor snafu. Have you gotten Konaric? No, I have not yet. I'm not even sure I have all of the Dragon Priest masks from Solstheim individually. Seekers will certainly pop up. Definitely need to be wary of their magic projectiles. Yep, there we go. We lost the stream already. Stream is gone 17 minutes in. Fudge Muppet, they pop up every... there we go, there's a Fudge Muppet popping up. They pop up every... I think they do like a video a month, every 2 months or so, and it always gets a huge amount of views, but they're mostly like, they just talk about lore and stuff now. Not a whole lot of original like build content or anything anymore. It's mostly just commentary on existing lore. And then every once in a while, if there's like new Bethesda game hype, they'll dip into that. Like they did a few Starfield builds and stuff like that when people were higher on the game, more toward launch. And then when, you know, that started to lose viewership, they kind of dipped out, went back to Skyrim. Oh, chapter 3. They're an example of exhausting the well of builds. Good stuff back in the day, but can't remash it. Well, yeah, especially if you're just like really not into it. There we go. I took 3 shots from him. Took about a third, but we are still ticking on the damage over time there. Okay, now we're going back up. So about a third of the damage. For whatever reason, my pause on load screen doesn't work in a black book. I don't really know why. Maybe because it's not technically loading. But there was a solid few seconds there where my controls were non-responsive as I was getting pelted by the Seeker. Not great game design there, but you know, we look past it for the greater good for this game. Royal Armory is one of my favorite. Yeah, I think I used that back in the day. I should pick that back up. It helps with, you know, crafting more builds if you get more unique weapons. Then you can, every time you get a unique weapon, that's like a build, right? If you want to build around that unique weapon, as long as it has like brings some stuff to the table that you didn't really have before. Going over 1,000 armor will break the game. Is that what I saw from you, James? Was that James? Don't go over 1,000 armor would break the game. Okay. How is that going to break the game? Is it just, does it like roll over the value or something and then gives me like negative armor value? That would suck. Good to know. I don't think I'm going to get there. 832 is pretty good. The only reason I'm going over what is the cap with a shield is like 564 or something like that, and then 664 without a shield. 665, something like that. Is because I have some perks in the heavy armor tree that beef up my magic resistance based on armor rating. So that's the only reason to go over the cap. Out of the Inferno, I believe. Incoming fire, frost, and shock damage reduced by 0.02% per point of armor if wearing all heavy armor. So yeah, getting another 16-17% elemental resistance. Pretty good. Oblivion Artifacts is also a godsend. Karn getting penetrated by the Seeker while in the dark, yeah. Everybody's dream / nightmare. 567, 667. Okay, gotcha. I knew I was close. I think I had the right numbers, but in the wrong order. Not really an exact science. It's not like you're going to hit exactly that number and then stop. But as long as you get, you know, around 600 or 700, depending on if you're using a shield or not, you're pretty much there. Good to know the number, though, just in case. Getting a little tired, a little hungry, but we're still okay. Oh. We are beefed up. Yeah, so I put out that Sky UI equip set video. It was like probably 2 weeks ago now. And then somebody commented on being able to put potions in your equip sets. So, yeah, now, as long as you put like the potion in your equip set, it will automatically drink those potions for you whenever you change the equip set. So you can put Fortify one-handed, Fortify two-handed potions in here, and you can really beef up your damage output just by swapping out your equip set, or just by activating the equip set that you already have will reactivate all the potions in that equip set. It's really good. So I've been using that. This is this equip set 4 is my dragon fighting equip set. So I'm beefing up all my elemental resistances and my magic resistance, and automatically equipping dragon rend for all this. But you can put stuff in here like fortify block, fortify destruction if you have a strong destruction enchantment on one of your weapons, things like that. But pretty much as soon as I get back to the mainland Skyrim here, I'm going to be absolutely just jamming on creating fortified one-handed, fortified two-handed potions here. In fact, I got a ton of these already. I can throw those into two-handed. We'll demonstrate this a little bit. So let's see, we have the regenerate stamina. This actually also is one of those power potions that you make for leveling alchemy really quickly, but it's also a very useful potion. This is what is it? It is I'm losing it. You can plant all the different ingredients for this, and it is Dragon's Tongue, Fly Amanita, and Mora Tapanella. You can plant all the ingredients. You can build a ton of these. If you're a warrior, this is super good because it has a two-handed, fortified two-handed weapons, regenerate stamina, and resist fire. So that's a lot of stuff. You also have illusion spells are 41% stronger, but I found that in Ordinator you don't really need that. Your illusion spells, if you take the right perks, are always strong enough. And it's not, it might be useful for like certain boss characters and stuff like that, but you're not going to get a whole lot of use out of those potions. But what it is very useful for is the two-handed and stamina regeneration. So now we throw that potion into our two-handed equipment set here. Now every time we switch to two-handed, which I'll do for the next fight over here, you're going to see how much damage we're doing on that. And that's because he will automatically drink that potion. I think there might be a lurker around here somewhere. I thought there was a lurker. Oh, there's a seeker there. All right. Yep, just pops that potion. Almost died, but that's okay. That's why I have Spellbreaker on most of the time with these guys, because they are tough enemies. But yeah, as soon as I switched over to the two-handed weapon set, you saw the flame effect go up. That was the effect of that potion becoming active. And you can do that with archery, fortify archery potions too, if you switch to a bow. Really good for this build because I do a lot of weapon switching with the Pure Warrior because he's good at so many different modes of combat that I find myself switching during combat quite a bit. And that's really kind of what made this character stand out amongst other, you know, just pure warrior builds, was all that weapon switching and finding the opportunities to actually use them, or to actually switch your weapons, because the sheath and unsheath animation in this game does take a while. So you need to, you know, stagger with your foos shouts, use become ethereal. Your trick arrows, your orcish trick arrows that pop the enemies up in the air. All of those things can give you opportunities to switch your weapon out, which does also do proc the sandstone sheath perk in the smithing tree, which gives you another boost on top of all of your already existing weapon damage. This will stack on top of everything. So an extra 25% damage for 10 seconds after you unsheath a weapon. Good stuff. And if you're playing super hard difficulty level, like I am right now, with the amount of damage that I'm taking above and beyond vanilla legendary difficulty and also the legendary difficulty 25% damage output, every piece of damage fortification that you can get is useful. Every single bit. Always end up using maces and hammers for the armor reduction. Yeah, that's a good call. Especially because that armor reduction, that does allow you to go beyond the enemy's armor rating and actually give them a weakness to physical attacks. So reducing armor in any way possible is always a pretty solid strategy if you're trying to do physical damage. More on the Black Books and their new hit single, Penetrated by the Seeker, from their debut album, Lurker. I like it. Had to shake up a beverage. There you go. Yeah, I'm a little tired today, so I've been, you know, nursing my monster here like I usually do. Nursing my monster. There's another double entendre for you freaks in chat. Yeah, my fire alarms, they weren't like going off last night, but one of them was running out of battery, so they start chirping at like a 10-second interval. You've been what? Right. I knew it was gonna get some comments. You guys are in a mood today. Not that you guys aren't always in a mood, right? But you guys have been off the rails today. In the best way possible. Yeah, so one of my fire alarms have been like chirping at me because of the battery situation. And it does a loud, high-pitched beep every like 10 or 12 seconds or whatever that interval is. And of course, it picks like 2 o'clock in the morning to do that on me when I'm already sleeping. And so now I'm like in a rage because I gotta wake up out of a deep sleep and then, you know, march from room to room trying to figure out what fire alarm it is that's going off on me. Finally do find it and then get the batteries replaced or whatever. And okay, so the chirping stops. We have peace of mind just in case, you know, there is a fire or something. The battery's in there, ready to go. But now I'm awake. I'm up. I can't go back to sleep. I'm not tired anymore. I'm kind of pissed off that it had to happen at 2 o'clock in the morning. It always does. It can never just happen in the middle of the day, right? When I'm just like here working, not trying to sleep or anything. I'm already awake, not in the middle of anything super important. No. Can't happen like that. We is the mood. So yeah, I'm a little slow, a little tired today. I think I went the wrong way. In fact, I'm pretty sure I went the wrong way. We got to go to the straight to the other side of this chamber over here. This is where we came in. So this switch extended these, the staircase over here, opened up this tiny little room. New chest. Batteries. Be the temperature drop at night. Well, that is what happens with this one. Battery drops as it gets cold. Yeah, this one's been fine for a while, and getting too cold right now is not an issue for us. Let me see if I can pull up the weather. Oh, hi, Lucy. Yeah, it's 93 degrees Fahrenheit right now. Let's see if I can pull up the... So last night it only dipped into 65 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not cold. Let's go Fahrenheit to Celsius. So last night the low was 65, so that would be 18 degrees Celsius. That's not cold. That's not cold. And then the highs, of course, are ridiculously OP. It was 99 degrees yesterday, which 37.2 degrees Celsius for you in Europe. So cold is not an issue for me right now. Extreme heat might also have a similar effect. I'm not sure. I think it probably does, but not as much as the cold does on batteries. I think heat's generally okay. And we keep it like in the 70s Fahrenheit in our house with the air conditioning and stuff like that. So we're not burning alive inside where all our batteries are. But generally with like car batteries and stuff, yeah, the cold will affect them more than the heat will. Both heat and cold will affect battery life. Yeah, they do. I drive a Mustang. I've driven Mustangs for a while now. And the last model year that I had, sorry, here we go. The last model year that I had, they put the battery at the back of the engine compartment, so all the heat from the engine gets pushed to the back, like close to where the firewall is. That's where the battery was. So I was replacing that battery all the time because of the heat from the engine getting just blown right over the battery all the time. They moved the battery to the front in the newer models, I think, which is what I have now, and they it significantly increases the battery life for sure. Battery shield, yeah, they come with them now too. But this was probably 20 years ago now. Yeah, kind of a big design flaw that they carried forward in a lot of their models from that. I think it was the 2005 refresh. Mine is in my trunk in the MX-5. Oh, that's cool. Does it come like that, or is that a mod? We replace our alarms with worry-free alarms, which use a 10-year lithium battery. The idea is that they won't ever chirp because the battery is dying. Nice. Maybe I should do that. Yeah, these are old-timey smoke detectors that came with the house when we bought it, like, let's see, 26, almost 10 years ago now. Wow, we've been in this place for almost 10 years. Crazy. Yeah. So we could probably use some newfangled fire alarms. Maybe even something that hooks up to the internet so we can get alerts on our phone if our house is burning down. That would be nice. I've done these black books so many times, but like, it's usually at the end of a run, and I don't always make it here with every character build that I do. Man, I was putting my long hammer right against his ass. Shoving that long hammer right into him. There you go. Put that one on a T for you. Two things. Two things or one really big thing. Its factory, my V70R also had it in the wagon hatch trunk area. That's kind of smart design because you don't need that battery to be close. I mean, the wiring is going to be fine as long as it doesn't like corrode or whatever, and that's usually caused by stuff in the engine anyway, or the battery acid itself. But as long as you keep an eye on corrosion, yeah, because if you have to rewire that, it's probably going to be much more of a pain in the ass than rewiring it in the engine compartment alone, I gotta imagine. Karn's legendary long hammer. I would set up a sprinkler system in my house, which would dispel CO2, which is great for putting out fires and dealing with home invaders. Nice. Like fire extinguishers. What's making him so fast with the hammer? Yes, my favorite thing. It's in Ordinator, so if you're running Ordinator, you can do it as well. It's in the two-handed tree. You see how this one branch that I'm using is so much longer than the other ones? Pun intended. That's because of Massacre here. In combat, swinging a two-handed damage has a 10% chance to increase attack speed by 175% for 3 seconds. But then I'm also running Enter the Arena. Massacre always activates when you take your first two-handed swing in combat. This effect has a 30-second cooldown. So basically, on a 30-second cooldown, every first attack that I do with a two-handed weapon in combat procs this one that almost doubles my attack speed with it. It's amazing. It's like one of my, yeah, basically what Magus is saying, the same stuff. One of my favorite perks in all of Ordinator. The issue is you got to be running a two-handed build, right? And two-handed builds are kind of, I wouldn't say it's quite a specialist build, but it does take some finagling to get it to work right, just because, you know, you're lacking defense. The two-handed weapons are usually very slow, so you have to pick your shots even with the regular attacks. It's almost like you want to start with a two-handed weapon with a block bash to get that stagger, and then while the opponent is staggered, go in for the power attack, because they can't interrupt you if they're staggered with a block bash, which is what AI usually does. If you're too close to the enemy with Wildcat anyway, the AI is a lot better. If you're too close to the enemy, you try a two-handed power attack, they're gonna block bash you out of it almost every time. But if you stagger them first, they'll just try to block your two-handed power attack, and that's like the worst thing they can do, because then they're getting staggered again when they block that two-handed power attack, and then you can go in with the regular attacks and just stack up damage. So that's my strategy for two-handed. This just makes it a lot more fun and a lot more powerful. But then you also have this Voice of Rage and Ruin, so that you get a 4% chance to activate your currently equipped power. And I have that right now set to, I think it's Star of the West, which refills all of your attributes and buffs them by the amount that it refilled. So say you're down to half life, and then this Star of the West power procs, then you're going to get all that life back, and then you're going to get a plus 50% boost to health. So you're going to get 50% more health to deal with, making you much more tanky. And it does the same thing with stamina and magicka as well if you're a mage. But for me, the health and the stamina just make this almost a no-brainer. And if it procs through that Voice of Rage and Ruin perk, it does not spend it for the day. You still have it active. It's good stuff. So I pretty much just have this. If I'm using a two-handed weapon, I have this equipped all the time, and it keeps me going. Very tanky. Massive power with slow speeds, exactly, yep. Hey, there's the Wind. Welcome, welcome, Wind. Hope you are doing well on a Saturday. Interesting. This one has read from several sources that in Skyrim, weapon speed is the wrong way around. Heavy weapons should be fast, down to daggers slow. Really? That's definitely not the case in practice, because I can demonstrate it pretty easily here. So we have two-handed. This is the fastest two-handed weapon in the game, by the way, the long hammer. This one has the same attack speed as like a great sword, I think, which makes it very fast. And then we switch to one-handed weapon, and it's, well, this is a slower one-handed weapon against a faster two-handed weapon, but yeah, this is actually faster. Long hammer is fastest two-handed base game. Yeah, and I did that on purpose. This is part of like the build, right? The long hammer is part of my two-handed loadout for this because it leans into that massacre and voice of rage and ruin. So the fastest two-handed weapon that I have possible is the one that's going to proc that power as often as possible. Cough evening. Human life, not Skyrim. Well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like the lighter weapons are the ones that you're going to be able to move faster. Like with a knife. I mean, two-handed weapons are very, very fast. I've seen videos of people using great swords, and they're swinging that thing around like their body like a whirling dervish. It's super fast. Even though if you're gonna swing that thing around that fast, you keep it really close to your body, so you completely negate the range advantage that you would have if you're doing that. But the longer ranges attacks are typically much slower than something you're swinging around with a knife. In knife fighting, it's almost an extension of your fists, and of course you're going to be able to punch a lot faster than you're going to be able to swing a 10-pound hunk of metal around your body, right? I've heard Karn's long hammer is pretty fast. There we go. Elemental Fury. Yeah, Elemental Fury's good, but if you are using Voice of Rage and Ruin to proc powers, it doesn't work with shouts. So you have to pop that shout first before you enter combat, and then switch to a power in order to take advantage of that. But yeah, that's gonna give you just you're gonna put that enemy in a blender at that point. It's gonna be kind of hilarious looking. It's good stuff. I don't know. Lately, I've been on a big SkyUI equip set kick, where I'm trying to spend as little time as possible in menus, even like the favorites menu. And I've been really liking just, you know, getting into the game, staying in the game, staying in combat, staying in the action without having to, you know, pause the action to get into a menu somewhere. So you could get around that by just doing the regular, you know, equip set for your two-handed like I have been, except have it equip the Elemental Fury shout, and then pretty soon we'll get a Karn and no HUD playthrough entirely. Yeah, I have it on a hotkey. I can go without HUD with Sky HUD or iHUD, I think. We'll go for his mod. But yeah, it's been great. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about how to work around with the Elemental Fury. Yeah, so instead of Star of the West, you would have it set to Elemental Fury. Pop Elemental Fury right before you start swinging, and then have just a separate hotkey that switches back to Star of the West before you start actually attacking. And that would work for you. It's just a couple extra hotkeys to hit, or at least one extra hotkey to hit before you start your offense. I think I'm gonna go Black Market here. Black Market is typically the better one of all of these. Bardic Knowledge is cool, but if you're not playing a bard character, the theme is kind of off. Summons a spectral drum that plays for you, increasing stamina regeneration for you and nearby allies. You may only accept one ability from this. Yeah, so stamina regeneration can be obtained from other sources, right? I think just having the Black Market, just a high-level vendor available to you at any moment, especially for a non-speech character that doesn't have like the fence perk and then all the perks that increase vendor gold availability and stuff. Having just an extra vendor that you can buy high-level items from, and also, more importantly, sell off your loot to, is the best thing. Secret Servant is good too, but that's just mostly for encumbrance purposes. If you're running like Nether's follower framework, all your followers have unlimited follower storage anyway that they don't actually equip. It's just kind of just an unlimited storage chest that is attached to them. So if you're running NFF, you don't need Secret Service to carry your, or Secret Servant to carry your stuff. So I'm going Black Market on this one. The thing is, greatswords are basically sword spears. Even with keeping the handle close to your body, it has more reach than most melee weapons in real life. That whirling is only for fighting multiple foes. It's designed more for area denial than actually hitting foes. I see. It also wears you out real fast too, I could imagine. Big time core and shoulder exercise. Black market is good when one is overloaded in a... Yeah, so Secret Servant kind of does the same thing. It's pretty much just a way of offloading your encumbrance in the middle of nowhere. Oh, the kid got a... Oh, is the kid getting his car fixed, or they getting a new one? Okay, James, take it easy. We'll see you next time, buddy. Have a good week. Two new tires, gotcha. Okay, well, I'm gonna need that light there. I was trying to turn the light on. Bencongrica. I think I said that right. Holy crap. Still waiting to get his fixed? His car? What's the holdup? Are you waiting for a part, or he needs the money, or what's going on? So yeah, cool stuff to do in Soul Slime. Dragonborn was a great expansion for endgame characters, for endgame builds, because there's a lot of like high-level content here. You know, there's the new Dragon Priest fights with the new masks and stuff. Great new equipment to have too, to bolster an endgame build with those Dragon Priest masks, boosting your elemental damage output. The Mirak fight can be tough on higher difficulty levels for sure. He does a lot of things to you, a lot of unique things, different stages. A lot of new magical attacks to look out for. It's not just your general elemental stuff that you might already have protection against. So yeah, there's that too. But then there's also Karstag, and Karstag might be the toughest quote-unquote vanilla enemy in the game. Not quite vanilla because it is a DLC, right? It's something that you have to pay for and download and add to your game. But yeah, Karstag is really tough, and I don't have his skull yet, but I will get there. I'll get it eventually. Okay, we're kind of tired. I kind of want to see what's up over this way. Some frost trolls, no problemo. One shot. Frost trolls ain't nothing. It did take half my stamina, but that's kind of understandable, right? Sprinting uphill in full plate, steel plate armor with a very large hammer in your hands, swinging with all your might. Does make a certain amount of sense there. But that would wipe out a lot of stamina, and I feel like Fortius having half his gas tank left after all that is actually pretty good. Don't need the bones. Or the jug. How am I doing here on encumbrance? I'm okay. Do want to see what's up here. Have a light card. Hey, Nico Roshi. Welcome, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Having a good start to your Saturday. Good start to your weekend. Mercenary boots. Ooh. Definitely can sell those off for a nice little tidy profit there. I like money. Karstag and tough in the same sentence. Well, I mean, if you're talking about vanilla enemies, he's probably the one, right? Werewolf. Werebear. Wow, I got him mid-transformation. That looks kind of nasty. Okay. Let's let them transform. Yeah, so I have Lydia equipped with a sword that reduces armor rating, which makes my attacks even more powerful. Where you going? Well, I do have...
Only a fool himself gets around it.
I do have quite the archery skill as well, so running away, trying to get out of melee range was not the right move for that werebear. Werebear's not known really for their tactical supremacy, I would want to say. It's been in their possession to fix since then, like 2 months now. Oh, that sucks, dude. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out my, trying to catch up on chat here. Oh my god. Pain in my ass. All right. Oh, it's a saga. He bought it from Carvana, and within a couple weeks, the engine light came on. Using their warranty, he took it to various in-network shops before taking it to a dealership. They determined that coolant was getting into the cylinder 4, new long block and motor. Warranty said they wanted a second opinion and shipped it to another in-network shop. They determined the same thing. It has been in their position to fix since then, like 2 months now. Okay, so are they just taking forever to fix it, or is Carvana jerking them around on getting them the money for it? Sounds kind of like something Carvana would do based on what I've heard about Carvana. Yeah, I probably wouldn't buy from them. I do have a friend who works for them now, but he just works on their website. I don't think he's one of the higher ups that deals with warranty or anything. Can't say any is difficult. I was one-shotting everything using the EW and Karst with my last character. Well, yeah, I mean, you're gonna find builds that are overpowered, right? Carvana, not the best reputation, like CarMax and all those ones who pay cash to buy your cars. It'd be cheaper for you and your kid, for me to fly out. I'd fix it myself, fly back, take 2 to 3 days max. Yeah, it's still being worked on. Be nice to have a personal mechanic on call, though, huh? I used to try to do all that stuff myself, and then trying to do that in the summer heat here in Arizona is a little rough, though. I'd much rather pay somebody else to do it in their air-conditioned garage. Getting all sweaty on the ground out here. Yeah, I was doing that for a while, and then as I got older, my tolerance for that stuff, it declined. It is interesting to learn, though. If I had like a nice garage and like room for all the tools and like all the equipment that I would need, I would be super into it. I have no doubt that if he left it at the Ford dealership, it would have been fixed within 7 to 10 days. Well, yeah, at a huge expense. Those are expensive repairs, right? They seriously lowball you on what they offer you for. Yeah, I just spend a few days on Craigslist or Auto Trader or whatever, and you can get a much better deal. They just depends on like how fast you need the money, I guess, or how much you want to deal with the pain of selling a car. which actually isn't usually all that bad in my experience. I've never really sold a car that way. I've traded it in for other cars. You get better trade-in value than you do just cash for it anyway. And at that point, the lack of pain in the ass is usually worth it. But I have bought used cars before, and it's never been, like, just from private sellers, it's never been a terrible experience for me. As long as you know what you're, like, looking for, you know. Checked my V70R before I sold it. They wanted to give me 4,300. Sold it a week later for 1050. Wow. 10,500. Bought from CarMax without issue. Carvana, no way. Trade in typically less than private party. Oh my god.
I've never been more ready.
I can't see anything, and I'm about to get completely popped by ice rays. Okay, great. Lydia, do you not see the ice raids? I can't really take the time out of combat right now to use my control weather scrolls. Oh, this is terrifying. This makes ice rays even scarier, trying to fight them in a blizzard. We're fighting reavers at least, so I don't have to worry about collateral damage. Okay.
Are you prepared to die?
No!
Oh, sorry, Lydia. Wow, I barely did any damage to her. Her armor is really holding up well. That's good. Okay. This is nasty. Now, I did fix this in my next modding profile, the one that the Triumvirate Cleric build is on, and so we don't have blinding blizzards anymore or rainstorms. So that's good. Wow, I got a lot of scrolls here to sell off. I pick up any scroll that I see because they're typically very light and quite valuable, so they're basically just free money with very low encumbrance. Private party is the way to go in selling unless you have a car note. I blame the snowstorm. Indeed. So yeah, that is fixed going forward. I thought there was a chance that I would have my mage build guide done. I'm probably a good 2/3 of the way through that, if not more. But yeah, like I was telling Magus earlier, I've just been so busy this week that like any downtime that I get outside of work or, you know, just other obligations, I'm just trying to relax and watch TV with my wife or play another video game just for fun with no obligations. I've been playing Black Myth Wukong. Winding down. That game is not a great game to wind down to because it's very intense. There's a lot of boss fights, almost like a Dark Souls game. Very difficult as well, so you know it gets the heart rate up a little bit. But I'm on the last chapter now, and it's one of those gamer cred games because it is so difficult. I just like the fact that as a graybeard, I can still, you know, throw down with the young gamers as well. In terms of reaction times and like animation pattern recognition and stuff like that. Manual dexterity is a big one too. Keeping it sharp, you know. When your game is running, your webcam is stuttering. Is it just on my end? Ooh. I don't know. It looks pretty good on my end here. It was doing it for you too. Interesting. I haven't seen any like performance issues if my GPU is taking a dump. Boy, that would be sad. Especially at this moment in the turning of the age. Trying to buy replacement high-end GPUs. Probably not exactly what I want to be doing right now. Headwaters of Harstag. This is just, I think, where you need to soak those mushrooms, if I'm not mistaken. GPU market is stupid again. Glad I bought when I did, yeah. You've erected your standard, I see. I have. Y'all gonna rally around my standard now?
What was that? I am sorry, but you left me with no choice.
Oh, she had some crazy health regen. As her health got lower, her regen started kicking in a lot faster. So it was, I got her down to like 1/3 health pretty quickly, and then had to really pummel her to get her down the rest of the way. Not sure I'll rally, but I definitely admire from a distance. Okay, probably the best policy. So when your character is moving, all right, so I'm gonna keep it moving. Yeah, no, it's looking okay on my end, so I don't know. I'll have to watch the replay of it. See what's going on. Also, I guess I could. Yeah, GPU is not crazy. It's around, you know, in between 50 and 70% here. And I'm using the NVENC encoder, so OBS shouldn't be touching my CPU too much. Skyrim is a single thread game for the most part, so that is CPU 3 there. The third thread down is running at like a fairly solid 70 to 80%. That's the one that's running Skyrim. So yeah, not really a strain on any of the resources. Might just be a bitrate issue where it's just prioritizing the game instead of the camera. Excuse me. You can like belch in front of your, like right in your ear. The Iridescent Warrior is back. Sorry, I've been enraptured in a book. How's streaming going? It's going well, I think. So far, so good. Okay. I don't see any undiscovered stuff on the map. All right, let's, we are definitely tired, hungry, and thirsty, so we can take care of the hunger and thirst right now. I don't want to eat raw meat. Let's go with the horker. Do some cheese and some cabbage for fiber. Now we're just a little bit sleepy. That's fine. Let's see. I don't think I have anywhere to sleep in the Skull Village, which is a shame. I would like to be able to sleep there, but I can't. So let's keep right at the fork over here. All the way back to Mirak's Temple. And then we'll just use that to cruise all the way back to Raven Rock. Wow, we're at the opposite corner of the island here. We need to get back for some sleepy time. On foot. Nope, wrong way. Luckily, Solstheim is a pretty small world space, relatively. 3:48 a.m. Wow, we are going to be sleeping late tomorrow. Or today, I guess. Hope Geldis doesn't mind having a patron sleep in that late. I'm sure he doesn't. Do I have candlelight or something going? No, I do have a reshade. This is the Nulvis reshade. So when it's a bright night with a full moon and also you're in a snowy area, it gets pretty bright. No candlelight or anything going on. This is what it looks like with my quick light lantern on. It's just with the moonlight and the white snow, it gets pretty blinding. I don't think you need that torch, Lydia. It's definitely not dark out here.
Reminds me of the standing stones back home.
Talking about the tree stone, they're quite similar, these Allmaker stones, aren't they? Not as good on the passive buffs as the standing stones back in Skyrim, but definitely the same vibe. Okay, that explains it. The snowy areas are more washed out than I'm used to. Yeah, they are. It's a Nulvis thing. Newer versions of Nulvis probably tone it down a little bit, I'm guessing, because it can be very harsh, especially here in Solstheim, and the Soul Cairn can look kind of washed out too. The ENB usually darkens things up in the Skyrim mainland area, but I've seen it even in the loading screens. It looks like the ENB kicks over to a brighter configuration when you're going into the Soul Cairn or going onto Solstheim. I don't know if that's by design or if that's a bug or what. Soul Cairn 2, that's where, yeah, it doesn't seem like a bright area, right? Okay, I need D badly. Let's see. Can one of the mods like squash that bot, please? Thank you. Good job, Joe. What the hell is going on? A lot of mage duels going on in Solstheim, I've found. You see this in mainland Skyrim too, as just a random encounter, but they seem more prevalent out here on Solstheim. Angry mages. Ooh, that hurt, even though I had my spellbreaker up. Some of that fire damage got through somehow.
You're pathetic. Now you'll pay.
Oh, that little fireball was pathetic. Alright, no, we're tired. We need to get to bed. We'll, actually, let's mark this on the map. We'll come back to it. I tried. Where's my participation trophy? I'll give you more than a participation trophy. Let's do like just an actual awesome person trophy. Make it a foursome. LFG, there you go.
Come on.
Ash spawn. High Point Tower, huh? Please. Well, two of them, huh? Man, they were right on top of each other. What were these ash spawn doing, huh? Hell to the yeah. The wind's like into it. All right. Bed ways is right ways now. We'll come check out High Point Tower here after we get some sleep. Fortius is an active boy. He needs his rest to repair all those muscles.
Bandits are cowards.
That's true. Although not quite as cowardly as those mages, am I right? Okay, here we go. So I've been playing the mage, the warrior, and the thief, right? For probably the better part of the last year, or maybe even more. And I think with this experience, I've honestly, surprisingly, I think I like the warrior the best. So this has kind of been like a good exercise in finding my preferred playstyles. So I think what I like is a hybrid warrior. So like mostly warrior playstyle, but then supplementing with interesting ways to use magic and maybe some interesting ways to use stealth. I think for stealth, I gravitate toward more the assassin Nightblade style of play. For non-stealth, I like the more warrior stuff. Combat archery is a lot of fun too. So I think once I get through the pure mage and the pure stealth, the pure thief builds, I might start focusing on like more hybrid warrior builds that use like modded magic and creative ways to supplement your combat.
Will you join us?
Sure, let's do this.
Well met, friend.
Be a good way to cap off the day.
Or die well.
Fortius isn't like a huge nature lover or anything. He's not like a druid or a tree hugger or anything. He's it's all about honing skills, proving his honor, honoring his father's memory with like the different tactics and stuff he chooses to employ. That's what he's into. A lot of my other characters would be kind of, you know, let's just leave the Netch alone. They're not hurting anybody, right? But Fortius sees it as an opportunity to test out his tactics and his skills against a formidable opponent. And the Skull are going to make use of all of the leather and stuff they get off of that Netch. They're not going to let it go to waste, but they also do derive a fair amount of honor and pride from being able to take a Netch down like that, I'm sure.
I've been looking for you.
Oh, Vander. How's it going, buddy?
Got something I'm supposed to deliver.
An active boy? I thought he was a bad lad.
Let's see here.
Very active.
From your friend Rallis. Hope everything is all right. Looks like that's it. Gotta go.
Yeah, Fortius has been through a lot, which kind of ages him beyond his years a little bit. But he's probably late 20s now, maybe early 30s, so he still has healthy appetites, I'm sure.
Seems you've inherited a situation.
Situation? What kind of situation?
Drovus Relvi owes me 1,000 septims. At least he did until you set him up with that Telvanni wizard. Now he's untouchable. The way I figure it, it's your fault he can't pay me. So I guess I'm going to have to collect it from you.
How would Fortius handle this? He's not one for just wanton violence all the time, but he is seeing the bigger picture, and Mogrel is a drain on the people here of Raven Rock. So goading him into a fight and then eliminating him is probably maybe the pragmatic best decision for the people of Raven Rock. And Fortius does not shy away from a fight, so... Or I could just kill you now.
Take your best shot, Fetcher. But if you draw on me, the guards will put a bounty on your head, not mine.
Bounty might be worth it. Okay. Well, he's going to try to ambush us at some point, right? Or he's just going to harass us. We'll try to goad him into attacking first. Fortius has great respect for Captain Velith and the guards of Raven Rock here. So he doesn't want to do anything that is going to, you know, hurt his station with them. But also, more importantly, he doesn't want to make life any harder for them. It's hard enough here in Raven Rock on Solstheim. So we're not going to just openly attack Mogrel here, but if we can get him to attack us, that would be ideal.
Welcome to the Retching Netch Corner Club, home of the finest Sioux jammer that will ever grace your lips.
Howdy hi, Gildus. Let's see here. Let's run a room.
Are you joking?
Oh.
You just rented a room from
Still
me.
good then, huh? All right.
Safe travels, Outlander.
Good night, or good morning, Geldus. Jeez. 5 o'clock in the morning already. Alright, let's get some sleep. Let's see. We'll get a solid 6. We'll go 7 hours. That should be enough. If we're completely up to him, he'd be sleeping a full 10 hours, but that's going to put him really late in the day to get anything done. That hair makes him look like he's 17. Yeah, he's still kind of a young looking. Well, the face though, not so much. Yeah, he still has a lot of years ahead of him, right? He obviously from the scars. And the semi-pissed off look on his face, he's been through a lot in his limited amount of years, but he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. He hasn't started turning gray yet. He's still got a thick head of hair, that's for sure. A little bit of helmet head, but that's all right. That's to be expected. Still in his physical peak, that's for sure, or prime anyway. Probably hasn't peaked yet. Once he gets closer to 40, he'll probably put on a lot more muscle than he has already. Although things like, you know, just being able to last longer in combat's probably not going to be as easier. He'll have to fall back on his tactics and strategies a little more, being able to attack when it counts, even if he can swing that hammer around a little harder. But we're still probably a decade or so away from that. Hungry and thirsty again. Got a lot of raw meat here. Let's go with the venison stew. We'll take an apple. Oh, I just realized I do have the player home over here. So let's drop all that raw meat off at the home. I forget what the name of the house is called. No, I mean Geldus. Oh yeah. Geldus does look super young. He's fashionable. You know, he's got to keep up with the town. He's got to keep himself young and social. Even though he might be over 100 years old with the way dark elves tend to age. PC Fortius Certus. It's not an easy name to remember. It's very, very Roman. I think he looks to be in his mid-30s. Yeah, that's about right. I would say that he's probably late 20s, early 30s, but with, you know, the amount of war that he's seen and the amount of combat that he gets on a daily basis, that should age a person. Especially if you're spending, you know, any amount of time here in Solstheim with all the ash. And all the elements over here, and Skyrim will age you too, because that's harsh as well. Where is our kitchen? I know there's a cooking pot in here somewhere. This is Lydia's room. Pot in here is a smelter. I guess in a pinch we could use the forge or the smelter as an oven. not ideal. Yeah, we have some of the more unique armor sets that we've unlocked here. I was trying to keep this open for, oh yeah, the Ozidal set. So we have the Boots of Water Walking over here. And we do have a unique Champion's Cudgel over here, which we may build around later. Sorry, my phone's going off here. Oh, jeez. Just drinking all kinds of potions. Oh, Steam. Let's see. What do we got on sale here? The Rogue Prince of Persia. That's a roguelite from Ubisoft that actually got really good reviews. What's it on sale for? $14.99. Not too bad. It's 25% off. I can wait. We'll wait for that to go under 10 at some point. Might also be still in early access too, so might not be ready for prime time just yet. Plus, I'm in the middle of a roguelite right now anyway, in the form of oh, what's it called? It's gonna make me look. Oh, roguelikes. Dead Cells is the one. This is the one that I've been playing. I'm 10 hours into it. I'm really looking forward to getting into the Castlevania DLC for this. It seems very, very well done. But I want to make sure that I like the full game. And so far, I've absolutely loved it. The one that's on sale, though, was the Rogue Prince of Persia. So not your typical Ubisoft game. It's got 2D animated graphics. It looks like almost like one of those old-time games that you play in your browser, like not the QuickTime, like the Shockwave games. QuickTime Shockwave games. But I'm sure it plays much better. Yeah, this one has gotten really good reviews, but it's flown very much under the radar because this is not what people look for from Ubisoft, which is a good thing for me because they have had that same formula for so long that it's starting to get tired. But if you come out with new stuff like this, then nobody buys it. So what do you do? I don't know. But anyway, that's one that has gotten really good reviews, and I like roguelikes, so willing to give it a try. I still have not found the damn cooking pot over here, though. There's got to be one here somewhere. Maybe it's upstairs, next to the entrance. It's not the years, it's the mileage, yeah. Oh, there we go. So if I can just plop some of this, what's the closest urn here? Maybe one of the barrels over here. I may have already used one of these barrels for ingredients. Let's just use this one. Plop all this raw meat in there. Do I have any salt? Put some salt in there. We'll preserve it as well. See if we have any crafting ingredients. We'll leave it in the forge area and or the alchemy area. Gads, let the dog out and he starts fussing. I think he's onto a rabbit under the deck. Beagle's going to Beagle. Yes, indeed. Had a very beloved Beagle that one of our favorite things to do was I'd take her not out into the desert, but like the desert landscaping out in like commercial blocks and stuff like that. And there would be rabbits running around in there, and I could see the rabbits like jumping from, like running from bush to bush, trying to get away from me and my dog. And I could see out in the distance where it was going, and then it was fun watching my dog like go and sniff the bushes that it had been, and then she would like run in pretty much exactly the same path from bush to bush, like exactly where the rabbit was going. And she enjoyed that because that's like what she was bred to do. She was part beagle, part dachshund. 20% off of Baldur's Gate 3 right now. Yeah, I got that on sale, I think during the winter sale for like half off or something like that. 20% is not steep, but that's not a bad price for that game. There's a lot of content. I actually do have that installed on my machine right now. I can't seem to get to the desktop, but go into the library here. And we'll go CRPGs. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is installed. I have 17 hours. That's more than I thought. I've taken a break from it, though, just to try to get through Black Myth Wukong, which, like I said, is a very intense game. So once I'm done with Black Myth Wukong, I'll come back to this one, and it's going to be like a refreshing, you know, glass of water or something after the intensity that Black Myth Wukong is. But yeah, just kind of sit back and relax and witness a story. I tend to enjoy playing this on the easiest difficulty more because I do enjoy the story and, you know, the branching dialogue and character development more than I enjoy the hardcore Dungeons and Dragons like strategy part of it. Mileage, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I mean, this is a deal at any price, really, with the amount of content. And if you enjoy this type of gameplay, you can play this indefinitely. It's basically having a D&D dungeon master available to you at all times, with a very well handcrafted world. And it is kind of the same basic premise that you play through all the time, but based on your choices and your timing on certain things, it could change the playthrough very significantly. So, like, not any two playthroughs are the same. Good stuff. Any plans of visiting First Berserker Kazan? It's on my wish list at some point in the future. Yeah, no, probably closer to the end of the year. I only have time to play so many games, and obviously with Black Myth Wukong and Baldur's Gate 3 that are on my plate right now, and Dead Cells, I'm kind of like going through the backlog of things that came out in the last couple of years. That along with Assassin's Creed Shadows on my PlayStation, and then Doom Dark Ages is coming out next month, I believe. So my gaming plate is going to be full. First Berserker just did not make the cut, but it looks amazing. I will get it and I will play it at some point, probably early next year, or later this year. People are really loving that game. It looks fantastic. It looks like my kind of game too. Alchemy. Let's offload some alchemy ingredients to save our encumbrance a bit. And a lot of ingredients taking up a lot of encumbrance here. I kind of like the idea of having a home base that's well stocked with, you know, weapons, crafting materials, and all that stuff in every major area. So I want to flesh out more Hearthfire homes in mainland Skyrim as well, but also get the player homes ready in like Beyond Reach, Bruma, and here in Solstheim. So here I can use this as like a tactical hub for like whatever I need to do in Solstheim. I have weapons and armor here that can help me achieve that. I can come through my armory here, pick out the weapons and armor that would best suit the situation, equip those, get my equip sets and favorites groups all set up, craft some potions if I need to, do some enchanting if I need to, and then head out and do my questing. Oh boy, cautiously optimistic that spring has sprung. Currently 66 with highs nearing the 70s in the next. Oh man, that's a lot of patio time. Soak it up while it lasts, man. That's beautiful. Little cooler come Monday, Tuesday, but otherwise things are looking promising. Awesome. Take advantage. Okay, let's pray to Ebonarm. I chose Ebonarm. I don't actually know much about the Ebonarm deity lore-wise. I don't know. Maybe Haster or somebody could fill us in on that. But gameplay wise, Ebon Arm reduces armor rating of enemies in combat, so that is a running theme for this character for sure. Oops. Where is my hotkey? Let's see. I think I have Unrelenting Force on here somewhere. Yeah, I do. Okay. Thought I had that hotkey. Don't know why that isn't proccing for me. Okay. Kyan is pleased with our actions. That's what I wanted. Turn that light off. Don't need it. Okay, so we need to go hit up Rallis. We need to talk to Neloth about the black book that we just got as well. Neloth has a few quests that we need to do for him. Pay Mogrel. Yeah, I don't think so. Doesn't deserve the money. He probably swindled, what's his name, out of that money and is giving him like completely unreasonable repayment terms and things like that. Let's go help out Raylis with his project over here in Ozidal's tomb. Get our helmet back on. Wow, okay, all my hotkeys are worked. It's not working. There we go. Just looking forward to being able to spend some time on the deck. Yeah, there you go. Soak up the weather. I mean, it's kind of a meme, but just going outside and looking at a tree will do so much to like calm your nerves. It's crazy. At least it works for me. Go outside and touch grass. It's effective. It works. Problem is, where I live, like through half of the year. Oh, the Morag Tong, huh? That's not really possible.
Now you'll pay.
Spend too long outside, you're gonna die. Really? Wow, these guys are tough. And I don't know how that sprinting power attack missed. I thought I was like right on target there.
Are you prepared to die?
Guide me.
That's me.
Oh, you weenie. Thundering Blow is ready. So I do have, what is it called? Like Face of Death or something like that. It's the perk in the heavy armor skill tree. That if you walk toward an enemy, it has a small chance of actually fearing them. Applying the fear effect on them. Which is a nice touch. I don't know how, well, obviously it it worked for me because it almost saved my life. I got those, man, they're shooting like Daedric arrows and stuff at me. But they did run away before they killed me. Doesn't look like a hood to me, that looks like a helmet. Getting pitch smacked by some lowly tone. Well, you know, when you're taking 7 times the damage that you normally do from vanilla legendary, you tend to get bitch smacked a little bit, I would say. Getting tonged, that's for sure. Too much warm for my taste. Okay, I think I've gotten the ring and the boots so far, but I don't think I've gotten much farther than that. I think this is the 3rd phase.
And now you're back. Great. Just great.
What is it this time?
Draugr again. I mean, we should have expected it, right? What else do you find in these damned crypts? But waves and waves of Draugr. At least 6 of the diggers are dead. The rest of them ran off.
Tong nabbit.
And I don't blame them. You've had some luck with these things before. Do you think you could go back in? See if anyone's still alive?
Yeah, let's go check it out. Not holding my breath for that, though. I like Rallis's voice. A little bit sarcastic, a little bit desperate. Unique. I like it too. Yeah, I hear him. Let's get into the middle. We'll pop the rallying standard right here in the middle of the arena. That looks like a low-level Draugr. We can take her out quickly.
Oh, no, you don't.
Yeah, there are some good Dunmer voice actors.
Now you'll pay.
Thundering Blow is ready. Not that we're going to need it, but may as well use it. Anything else? Oh, there is one more.
Now that's
Too
how it's
easy.
done.
It is indeed how it's done. Yeah, this axe is running out of charge really quickly. It takes a greater soul gem to refill as well. I think what I want to do is get an enchantment on some piece of armor here that has the recharging enchantment on it from Summer Mist that will slowly recharge your weapon back to its point when you equipped it, which is going to be less effective because we tend to swap out weapons a lot more frequently with this character. But, you know, still would be helpful in using less soul gems. Those do get expensive. Not that money is an issue anymore. I have 158,000 gold right now, and it's just only climbing. Okay, I need to see what my Unrelenting Force hotkey is. I keep forgetting. Oh, maybe I just have it on an equip set, so... Ah, well, I could just use my damn bow and arrow here, I guess. Oh, Death Lord, this is gonna take a little while.
You won't get the best of me.
As long as I can keep them staggered, it'll be okay. Did that knock him off? No, it didn't. I was hoping to be able to get in there up close and personal because I do not want to fight the archer at range. Ah, well, now I just can kill him. The ghost wolf there comes from a perk in the archery tree that spawns a spectral wolf whenever you are fighting a single enemy with a bow and arrow. So if you're using archery and you got one enemy left, that wolf will spawn. In my experience, though, that counts against your conjuration count. So if you already have a full conjuration
I've got a bad
suite
feeling about this.
out and ready, it will despawn one of those conjurations in order to spawn the wolf. So that might be a bit of a nerf depending on what else you have out. But for characters that don't really have any magical talent, like Fortius, that's okay. It's probably not ever going to have another conjured minion out and about.
Victory for now.
It's a nice blade there, but just a little too heavy to take for just basic loot.
Over here.
Hey, careful, Lydia. You see that trap, right? Take that beef. Morelli's letter to mother. Well, we'll see if we can find her mother. I don't think you can, but we'll keep that letter just in case. Bowling for Draugr. Favorite pastime. Even the two-handed power attack, if you have your blocking perks up and running, especially for timed blocks, and if you have force without effort, basically meditating on Fus Roda, word of power with Parthenax, you won't get as staggered. Great for any warrior who's heavily block dependent. Ozadal's Ring of Necromancy, not the good one with the ignite spell, but still not a bad ring. Not going to use it, but we'll put it in the collection. It belongs in a museum. Oh, you're talking about, what's his name? The follower added by the mercenary. God, why am I blanking on his name right now? I'm gonna take all these ancient Nordic arrows because I can turn those into frost explosion arrows with the trick arrows perk. Those are great. Stalrim boots, not bad. Few frost salts, about 100 of those ancient Nordic arrows, and then you get those frost arrows that are pretty badass. I should be using those more. The reason I'm not using the trick arrows more is because their explosive effects are very powerful, but they'll also just destroy your followers. And it's splash damage, so I don't think that the Companion's Insight perk from that black book is going to help with that. I just might decimate Lydia. At some point, I think I want to drop my follower and just go back to being solo. But with the difficulty that I'm facing right now, let's take a look at the Wildcat settings and see just how much damage I'm taking. So I'm at 0.25 damage dealt, which is vanilla legendary difficulty. A quarter of your damage is actually making it to the enemy. And then 5 times the damage taken. So that is, I think, 3 times is vanilla legendary difficulty. So, yeah, taking significantly more damage than you would on legendary difficulty from the vanilla game. So having another meat shield out there.
Any news? Especially
if you have the drain armor enchantment on their weapon, then you're doing more damage and you're avoiding the damage that they're taking
I should have
all at the same time. It's just, it's kind of
Well, at
hard
least we can
to
get
get
back
around
to
that
work.
tactically.
But hazard pay keeps piling up, and this won't
Too
be
easy.
getting
Need more
any
difficulty
cheaper.
mods in there.
I'm going to hire some.
Well, I almost got, you know,
mercenaries this time,
completely
too.
just,
Having some people around who know how to fight. Sure.
you know, gobsmacked by
it'll set the
the Morag
minds at
Tong
ease,
out there in that
and
random
hopefully keep
encounter.
them alive.
Just by getting shot with a few
They
arrows.
won't be cheap either. It's going to hit 3,000 this time, I'm afraid. Have you got that on you?
Yeah, I do.
We're going to be making this back 50-fold.
Been looking for ways to invest my money here.
Trust me on this. I'll go hire a new crew and some brawny types to keep them
Honestly, it's
safe.
been worth the
Come
money
back
just
and check in on it.
excavating these unique
Nothing can
items.
stop us this time.
They're kind of, you know, priceless in that they're so old and they're so unique and have so much history attached to them that the amount of money that he's spending to get them is kind of a drop in the bucket at this point. You almost get tonged in the ass. No, I have been looking for see, the thing is, all right, so Malderoth sent me a list of things to add difficulty to my game. This must have been a couple years ago now, but a lot of it is fundamental changes to enemies. And I don't really want to change things that much. I want something that that I can integrate into my existing list and my existing playstyle, my existing tastes, without fundamentally changing anything on like an enemy level or whatever. And the Vigilant mod was a really good way to do that because it was just a ton of really challenging, interesting, and unique boss fights. My Cleric build was able to get through that, but Triumvirate builds can be strong, especially with a minion-heavy build like the Cleric. You kind of don't take a whole lot of heat yourself anyway. You just have a lot of strong followers that can do your bidding for you. So if you have the right build, of course, it's not going to be all that difficult. But for builds like I like to get up close and personal with my playstyle. Like I said, I really am gravitating toward the warrior playstyle because it's very active. There's a lot of buttons to push. There's a lot of moment-to-moment tactics to analyze on the fly, and I really like that sort of hectic playstyle. That and the combat archery are really right down my alley.
It's nothing.
I'm going to be fine.
But with warrior builds, you can't really rely on the build as much for power, right? It's more of it's a skill question at that point, not like just knowledge checks on what things are the strongest things to employ in the build. So if you're playing like minion heavy builds or stealth builds, you're almost playing like a turn-based JRPG at that point, because even those games were like very, very heavily build-centric for gaining your power. There was a little bit of wiggle room for actual like gameplay in the moment active skill. Especially if we're talking about some of the more contemporary ones like Final Fantasy VIII with the Gunblade and Legend of Dragoon that had kind of the more active things that you could do during combat, timing-based stuff. But really it's about, you know, putting the puzzle pieces together for your build and seeing what strong, overpowered, broken stuff that you could do in combat, and like these chain reactions on these different like team building skills and passives and stuff that you could get for each one of your characters and building them accordingly. That's kind of what makes Skyrim great though, right? You can play this game as a character action game like Devil May Cry or God of War, or you can slow it down, play it more tactically like a Souls game, or you can slow it down even further and rely on your magic and your minions and the different skills you've taken, the perks you've taken, and let them do the work for you. As if it's a JRPG. It's really quite brilliant in my opinion. Just you gotta find your favorite and lean into it.
Captain Velitz mentioned how valuable it becomes to the Reverend Guard. Counselor and I appreciate your
Leaving all the good stuff laying around Nern, yeah. Bless them, right?
You must be using quite a bit of your
I think you buy those. Butt tongs are
I'm sorry we
are what they called, but
Not to worry.
tongs plug? Tong plugs? I don't know. I'm not well versed. Yeah, right. I think we all know better, Joe. You know what you're talking about. Legend of Dragoon was awesome. I played the crap out of that game. 4 discs back on the day. Yeah, those were the days of multiple discs. It was crazy back then having to do all that swapping. Final Fantasy VIII with Squall. Yeah, that's what I was talking about with the Gunblade. There was kind of a gameplay wrinkle to that, just hitting that trigger at the right time when he did his melee attacks. Cool stuff. And also interesting, like the way that you would strengthen your different materia with the different crafting materials that you would get, right? Not crafting materials, but like just different ingredients, like that would have like different like potion effects in a combat. Like you could hook those ingredients up to your materia to strengthen it. It was really quite interesting. So a part of the meta that I discovered, I don't know if this was actual meta or not, but one of the best tactics to use would be to go into some of the starting areas and grind for some of those materials that you could farm from those enemies there and hook those materials up. Don't use them, just hook them up to the different spells that you would get early on, and that was like the best way to strengthen your characters in that game. Interesting. Did anyone play Mega Man Legends, the 3D? No, I didn't, but I've heard good things about it. People love that one. My uncle had games that were 2 or 3 discs before. Well, it depends on what you're putting on those discs. For PlayStation, that was a PlayStation 1 game, so those were just CDs, I think. Or maybe a proprietary format that held a little bit more than a CD, but they were putting like pre-rendered video on there and stuff, which took a lot of space for the time.
You must be using quite a bit of your raw material.
MAME 32 version of Mega Man and Mega Man X. Yeah, I have actual hard copies of Mega Man. I got all 6 of them on my shelf. Here, let me show it off. Oh, let's do a little bit of show and tell. I actually have a new toy to show off. Not that kind of toy. So we have a scalable switch. This is something I got in the mail this week. This has been on back order for quite a while. It's probably hard to tell, but each one of these segments here is a different component that you can just add on. And it's great for retro gaming because you can put, like I have a component input. I have a SCART input on here. I have an RCA composite input. And then we have the power block right here in the middle that plugs into the wall. And I also have an optional remote infrared port on there, so I can switch these remotely. But then I have component output, SCART output, VGA output if I get a CRT monitor at some point, and then a composite output as well with S-Video on it too. There are still a bunch more parts on back order, but I want to get some more of these RCA composite segments to add on, and all I have to do is unscrew the bottom of this here and then just plug in more segments on it. And this is like the most badass scalable switch that you can get, and this is all just kind of like a small team just working out of their garage or whatever, so when they're sourcing these components it takes a little while for them to get them all done. So I'm waiting on more of these RCA ports to become available, but then it has like mounting brackets on it, so I can just screw this into the bottom of my desk and just have all of my retro consoles ready to go on the top of my desk, and I don't have to see any cables. And then I have a remote here that I can use to switch the channels on whatever I want to play. So for the most part, I would be just running all the component output into my RetroTink 4K that I have over here behind my monitor that's hooked up to my NES system right now. And then if I get a CRT at some point that I can actually fit on my desk, I'll have the VGA output running to that. And then have like all of my retro systems hooked up to these scalable inputs, and that's going to be totally awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. Right now I do have an NES that's hooked up. I can't really unplug that and show that. Well, actually, yeah, I can. I might have showed that off recently. That's the old school US version of the front loader. I do have it modded though These are aftermarket controllers too that are actually really nice. The wireless one here is an 8-bit DOE rechargeable that has turbo buttons on the top. Great for like track and field, or you know, if you just don't feel like mashing on shooting games or whatever. That's, geez, this thing looks tiny in my, my enormous hand. But yeah, I also have the console modded with a Nintendo drawer. Sorry, I'm trying to get closer to the mic here. I have the console modded with a Nintendo drawer here. I'm sorry if I'm making you guys all sick. But that is an aftermarket mod for the 72-pin connector. It actually has a ribbon cable deep on the inside, so it doesn't like wear out the 72-pin connector when you push the drawer down. It stays stationary, so it makes a much better connection. You don't have to fiddle with the cartridge or whatever. You don't have to blow in it like you used to, which is always bad to do anyway. You shouldn't do that, but people did it anyway. But yeah, it makes a perfect connection every time. I've not had a single issue with the game not booting up. Yeah, let's back up here. And yeah, so that's good. That's good stuff. I do need a shelving situation for this back corner over here too, so that I can put all of my awesome retro consoles on there too. And I do have a Carn Feet, yeah. Onlyfeet.com over here. I do have a Model 3 Genesis over here too, which is the later model, like way after the life of the Genesis. They were putting these out. You could find these in stores even in like the early 2000s at like Toys R Us or whatever. They were selling them for like 20, 30 bucks. But they work completely fine. This one actually does have an S-video output on it, which is amazing. That'll look really good. And I do have now on my scalable switch, I have S-video input and output. So I'll get a much better, cleaner signal coming out of this thing. So yeah, that's going to be great. And then more feet. Get ready for it. So we were talking about Mega Man and how you were playing them on MAME or whatever. I have all of them, 1 through 6 boxed copies here. Some of them are reproductions, but a few of them, I think Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 are actual original boxes. You can see the wear and tear on the front. They're not mint condition by any means, but I kind of like that they've been loved. They kind of had a life of their own, you know, and I kind of like that. Also, it's fun to, you know, do some treasure hunting and find them for reasonable prices whenever you can. But these are actual original boxes and everything. These are the 2 Genesis games that I have. I'm looking to flesh this collection out too. I have Mortal Kombat 2. Excellent game on the Genesis, and Eternal Champions, which was not the greatest fighting game of all time, but it did have some really interesting ideas. They were working on a second game of this for the Sega CD, and it was actually a very, very good fighting game for its time. Just realized you dropped a bunch of weight since... yeah, actually, that was... I lost a bunch of weight last year, focusing on cardio, walking on the treadmill and stuff, and just limiting calories. My goal last year was to bench press more than I weighed, and I did do that through a combination of increasing my bench press and dropping my weight. It's not your thinking. Garn's showing us his toys now. What I miss? Oh yeah, chicken is done. Oh, I was just showing my retro collection and like how I got some new hardware for my retro stuff. You can you know, rewind a little bit on the stream to see the stuff. But yeah, I got this new scalable switch that I'm working on. This is like a retro switch solution. I want to get more RCA component or composite modules for this so that I can hook more retro consoles up. And it's got a mounting bracket. I can just screw this into the underside of my desk, have all my retro consoles plugged in at the same time, and it comes with a remote that I can switch remotely. Very cool stuff. And I was just showing off some of my older games. You should do that once a week now too, retro gaming with Karn. Yeah, I did try to do some retro gaming videos on YouTube. They didn't really pick up so well, but yeah, it's something that I have been into. Of course, since I started collecting these, the prices on a lot of this retro stuff has gone through the roof, so it's been a little bit more of an investment to actually expand the collection these days. But yeah, maybe I'll spin up a new channel. The problem is I don't have time right now to keep up with the channel that I do have, right? So trying to maintain a completely separate channel is gonna be tough. Everyone has time. Well, it's just a matter of what you're using it on, right? I'm using mine for work and wife and sleep. But if I got rid of some of those, I could do another channel. Skyrim is kind of teetering on the edge of retro, right? It stays relevant with modding, but it is kind of a retro title. It's, you know, it's getting onto crap. Almost 14 years now, almost 14. Well, everyone needs sleep. Yeah, that's something that I have sacrificed in the past, though. To do more of what I want to do, along with the things that I have to do, and it's not good for your health. Not saying which you should get rid of. Yeah, right. No, I mean, all of those things are more important to me than video games. So it makes me really have to prioritize my video game time for the purposes that I want. Like the Skyrim channel, the YouTube channel is a creative outlet for me. Sharing my ideas with people, especially like Skyrim builds, seems to be the thing that people harmonize the most with. So I try to focus on that if I have the time and the energy to do it. Otherwise, I'm playing video games for fun, and right now I'm doing that with Black Myth Wukong. Please don't give up your sleep, very bad for your heart. Yeah, well, it's hard enough for me to sleep anyway, naturally. I'm a natural insomniac, so I have to be very careful about my sleeping habits anyway. But yeah, I know, sleep is very, very important. The question is, what will come first, Elder Scrolls 6 or the 20th anniversary of Skyrim? Ooh. If I were a betting man, right now I would say Elder Scrolls 6, but that's very, very close. It's going to be really close. I would say Elder Scrolls 6 by probably a couple years, but not much more than that. Oh yeah, no, that's definitely, the wife is more important than video games for sure. But I'm lucky enough that I married somebody who realizes that, you know, video game time is how I recharge, right? I need my alone time to play these games and decompress my brain. Being able to focus and analyze things that don't matter is like a huge thing for me to be able to manage the stresses of life, right? So she allows me that as much as I need it or want it. And I try my best not to take advantage of that. And also maintain that relationship. And she makes it easy. Mostly for me too, Magus. So it's like, it's coming around though. Video games are more culturally acceptable now than they were before, but still, there are many holdouts. The sad truth is that modded Skyrim will probably look better than Elder. In some ways, yeah, it will. In some ways, it won't. I think that the Elder Scrolls 6 will have expanded technological capabilities, like more people in towns, bigger towns, things like that. They will be able to port from Starfield. I hope they don't port everything from Starfield, because there are numerous things about that game that I don't like. But a lot of the technological stuff were great changes. The thing about modded Skyrim is that I said this on another Discord channel. So a modded Skyrim is almost always going to be the best game ever made. And that's because they have pretty much an unlimited supply of passionate, dedicated workers in their mod authors, right? That don't have deadlines and don't ask for a salary. So any game that has that is going to be the best game ever, right? Skyrim is lucky enough that it was a badass game on its own. People were interested in it. People loved it. Otherwise, people wouldn't be interested in modding it, right? So it's good enough that it was kind of a perfect storm, right? We had BGS put out a killer game for the time. It's very aged now in terms of the vanilla game. But then they also chose an engine that was easily moddable and accessibly moddable, easy to understand how to mod it, just in terms of, you know, replacing models, animations, textures, things like that. The creation kit is much easier to deal with, in my opinion, than Unreal Engine. It's easier to get in there, and it's all just the databases, right? So you're going to have your key values on the left, you're going to have your actual values on your right, and then it's all just a big database. So changing the values on your right to be what you want for the key item on your left, and just going through the different objects and things like that, and being able to tweak them to your will. And then the genius modding community came up with ways to fill in the gaps with the different engine plugins and things like that, to expand that even further. But BGS was gracious enough to put out documents and how-tos for Skyrim for the creation kit, that other, you know, games with modding engines did not really have at that point. There are games that are highly moddable. Pretty much any Unreal Engine game that you can get, you can mod, as long as you know how to get into the Unreal Engine toolset and navigate your way around. But yeah, so I think the chances of that happening again in any game, let alone another Elder Scrolls game, is pretty low. But Elder Scrolls does carry a lot of weight. There are a lot of people still playing Morrowind, a lot of people still playing and modding Oblivion. Just not as much as Skyrim. Skyrim took off crazy, right? Hundredth of a cent. Yeah, that takes a lot of downloads, and that's probably why Anai is so focused on downloads, on unique downloads, which is why he kind of gave up on Futhark and his Vanilla Plus stuff, because people weren't downloading them. So now he's all in on Ordinator and the big stuff now, but he's like implementing changes in those mods now that he wanted to put into like Futhark and things like that. Which I don't know if is the right way to do it, because there's a lot about Ordinator I don't want him to change, but it makes sense when you need that kind of download to even equate to $1. Anything brewing in the brain for another up-and-coming build? So I put the previews, at least the design documents, up on the Discord for my Sacrosanct Vampire build and the Triumvirate Warlock build. So you can kind of see where my headspace is at for those two. But also, as I'm playing through Black Myth Wukong, I really want to do a staff build. I'll call it the Wukong Staff Monk build, and I want to write up a document for that too. I just haven't had the time to do it, but that's been rattling around in my brain most of the things that I have kind of cooking. So I would go Khajiit because of like the tail and the fur and everything. I think there's a downloadable mod for the Imga race, which is kind of more like a Sasquatch race, so it is kind of simian based, but I don't know. I'm not huge on modded races. I kind of like to stick with...
Ogre says pay up. We figure we can just take it off your corpse. Now ain't this a surprise?
Oh, they're both doing their spirit walk here. Is he using exotic arrows that explode? Or she? Yeah, she was. So yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that build, leaning into mostly the staff combat out of everything, but also shouts from Thunderchild to kind of mimic what the spells and stuff they use in that game and how the magic system works there. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play. So for staves, I'm using the animated armory mod that has its own custom animations for staves. For perks, it just kind of reuses the Warhammer perks, which will all be good. I can use Massacre, Enter the Arena, and probably not Voice of Rage and Ruin because it doesn't really proc too many crazy effects in Black Myth Wukong off of his staff hits. But leaning into things like Critical Strike, I do have a nice jump attack mod that I can use with that too. So basically it'll be a two-handed light armor, almost like a barbarian build, really, with some shout support. And a Khajiit barbarian sounds interesting as hell. But with builds, especially modded and Irem builds and stuff, it's not really so much the main class you're using, but how you use it. You can get a lot of build diversity using same basic classes. With the way Anai uses his like different effects, enchantment effects, and racial abilities and things like that. Burns bright but fast. Yeah, I can see that. He even with stuff that, you know, he was currently working on, and you could tell that he would like be really into it at the start, and then that interest would fade fast as he started thinking about something else. Which I understand, right? We all have a certain amount of restart-itis with our Skyrim characters. That's a known phenomenon with this game. And I think probably even most of the people in this chat have dealt with significant restart-itis. It tends not to hit me as much because I'm a little better. I'm trying to get a map marker down here. Because I tend to, you know, not... Jesus. This is killing me here. I just want to get a map marker down. Let's see. Local map, journey, set destination. Okay. There we go. Now I can tell where I want to go. I guess I could just look on the horizon and see where I was trying to go. Guilty as charged for restart-itis. Yeah, and some people who focus really hard also have like attention span challenges as well. And that's very common. So like you could tell with Stu, like after the first few episodes he started to kind of lose steam on some of his different sagas and characters and stuff, especially when he'd start really strong in on a new storyline or something, like the resurgence of the Fleet Featherstone saga. He went all out on like creating websites and stuff for that and doing all this character development and everything, and then you could tell he was not into it by the time that he was actually releasing videos for it. which was frustrating for the audience for sure, because that was a very beloved character in a very beloved series that kind of just went away. But I can also see it from his side too, because at that point he had probably blown his creative wad on it and lost a lot of momentum, and just he was just not into it. He explored everything that he wanted to explore with that character and wasn't into it anymore. So he was like, he felt obligated to continue for the audience, and that when you're making content for others and not for yourself, that's when the burnout sets in really hard. And it's just part of human psychology. It's not anything you can blame anybody for. And with stuff like this, where, you know, he was back before the adpocalypse, the YouTube adpocalypse stuff. You know, I wish these map markers would go away when you actually ran over them. Yeah, the map marker system in Skyrim is a little wonky. I'm sure there's a mod to fix it. But yeah, that's so while I was one of those audience members who was frustrated to see these favorite characters just kind of disappear, I also get it. When you make a lot of especially heavily edited content like he did, and what I'm doing with like the build guides, I'll go months without putting like a pre-recorded produced video on my channel, and my subscription numbers and my views definitely suffer for that. But luckily, that's not what I'm in it for, right? I think that Stu was trying to make a real go of it, because like I said, before the YouTube adpocalypse stuff, I think he was making a fair, not anything livable, but he was making a little bit of chunk of side hustle money from the channel, from his Fleet Aranus Arcana days. So if that happened, I might be like a little more tempted to try to make a full-time push to build something big. But I could see myself burning out like Stu did. Kind of want to break from the stealth and do a blind moth priest turned blind swordmaster mercenary. Dual wields katanas, wears robes with a hood, blindfolded with alteration, restoration, and destruction. Yeah, and then there's always ways you can roleplay that with like Aura Whisper and stuff to get around the fact that he lost his inborn ability to see, but there are magical ways through Detect Life and Aura Whisper that you can hook into to actually be able to see. I'm missing something here, aren't I? There's like a door or something that I have not... that I've just not run into, or maybe this is blocked. Maybe this is level or quest locked. You get to a certain point in a quest and this kind of disappears. Yeah, like echolocation, kinda, yeah. And at some point you don't even have to like lean into those shouts anymore. You could just say it's become more of an innate magical ability to see, kind of like how Daredevil does it with his echolocation. He can see better than a person with actual vision in some regards because of it. Yeah, I mean, Stu still has the talent for character creation, right? We're seeing some of his character portraits and stuff in his channel. He's mostly using that to host the pictures for, I think, probably like a tabletop session or something that he's got going on. But his talent for character creation is still there. That character looks great. It looks like a dark elf thief.
You won't get the better of me.
He just doesn't have the passion for Skyrim anymore, which, you know, like we said, this game has been alive now for almost 14 years. A lot of us, this is like the only game we play. That's a long time to stay with a game with the same story, with the same world and everything. I have to dip out and play other games every once in a while too. Well, all the time, really. Orc worshipper of Akatosh who uses the devotee power to reset his berserker rage cooldown. Nice.
We have come south to test our worth against the mighty Netch. Will you join us?
I just did this. No, go ahead. I've done this like 4 times already. You can handle it on your own.
Luck will play no part today. We will earn our victory or return to the Allmaker.
Okay, less words next time would be great. All right. Let's see. I'm getting chatty here. Wait for the next message from Morales. Pay Mogrel. No thanks. Talk to Neloth. Okay, let's get back to. Tel Mithrin. Let's get this. I was really hoping that we could explore the High Point ruins up there, but guess not. Is that an ash hopper? Come here, Jiminy. No real boys today, I'm afraid. Pinocchio joke. Pinocchio joke. I hate how I amuse myself so easily. Yeah, I usually have 2 to 5 characters in the oven. Yeah, and a lot of the time, I'm kind of the same way. A lot of the times those characters are just in my head, and then I'll get the sudden, like, urge to want to play them, and that's when I start spinning up a new character, but... right now, I think I have too much on my plate. I'm really focused on getting the mage build out, and then the thief build's going to be very close behind. So I want to get those out, and then I still have the triumvirate cleric, which, you know, the gameplay is pretty much set for that build. I just, you know, there's some things in the game that I have to play through. There's a respec that I need to do on that too, so I need to get through the Dragonborn quest line to unlock perk respecking for that, and probably for the thief as well. So that's going to take some time. And then I have a new modding profile on MMO too that I've been working on a list of things to remove and things to add for that, to facilitate the new characters that I have coming up. The Sacrosanct Vampire, the Triumvirate Warlock, and the Wukong Staff Monk build. Jiminy.
I've got your back.
What?
Lead, I'll follow.
I'm actually interested in that Oblivion one. I'm not sure that, you know, it's something that I'm going to play for thousands of hours or anything like I did with Oblivion or Skyrim, but I'm interested in seeing how it looks. If they're upgrading to a newer version of Unreal Engine for the graphics, that's going to be, like I said, it's interesting. Again, I don't know if it's going to become one of my favorite games, but they're also modernizing some of the game systems for it and stuff, if, you know, rumors are to be believed, which it seems like those are real, because there was an official website from the people who are doing that port. It's not BGS. They're hiring somebody else to do it, but it is an official remake.
It's good to have everyone not running off to that.
It just hasn't been officially announced yet, but there has been a real official website that was up talking about the changes that has since been taken down, and it did show up on that that link from the Activision Blizzard merger with Microsoft. So it was a real thing at some point. I think we'll see it. I think there's enough smoke there for that fire to be real. It's just when they decide to announce it and release it, whenever it's ready. But yeah, that does seem interesting. It's not going to be Oblivion. It's going to be something. Well, it is going to be Oblivion, but it's not going to be the Oblivion that we know. It's going to be different enough to be a separate game. But Sky Oblivion is also super interesting as well. I think more of the mainstream audience will go for the Oblivion remake, but a lot of us here that have been doing modding for a while are probably more interested in the Sky Oblivion. Which one's better? Probably Sky Oblivion, just because they're, you know, they've been working on it longer. They know what we want better than PGS does at this point. The modders do, because they are us, right? But the mainstream audience, just people who, you know, they played Skyrim and they liked it, they heard of Oblivion, but they couldn't get past the potato face graphics or whatever, and they see that, oh, this is Oblivion with new sexy graphics. Sure, I'll give it a shot. The filthy casuals. Oblivion is also sticking to regional lore like the Colovian Highland Imperials region of Cyrodiil, something the original didn't. Oh, so more like jungle landscape and stuff. They switched from, like, I think Cyrodiil was supposed to be more like a jungle landscape and it ended up being more like a plains biome. Let's see. Oh,
That's that then. Curse these heart stones.
I have the black book.
Excellent. I'll just make a copy for myself. It's far too dangerous to carry the real book around.
Yeah, well.
Of course you can handle yourself. Of course you can. Of course.
I've been doing it.
Take this
and
for
nothing
your
bad has
efforts,
happened.
and we'll call the matter
Well, a lot of
closed.
bad things have happened, but I can handle it. Okay. Let's see, what's next here? Is there a problem?
I've been having difficulties.
It was a few months ago. That was like last year in October, November, I think. Yeah, they've been dipping their toes into the mobile stuff after they had all that success with Fallout Shelters or something. A lot of people really liked it. I'm not a mobile gamer. I wish they would focus on. Well, it's not the, you know, it's not the BGSA team that is working on Elder Scrolls that's going to be doing the mobile stuff, right? That's a completely different team in like Montreal or something like that. Your boy. Okay, buddy. Have a good weekend. See you around, okay? The quest is on the other side of the world. Yeah, the Briarheart one is way out there, but also if you've already cleared out whatever Briarheart it's trying to point you at, then it just kind of gets bugged and you have to go into the debug menu and do some set stage magic in order to get it to continue. I've had to do that several times. It sucks. And that's what I like about the TES lore. It's so effing fluid. Loophole? Contradiction? No problem. Time break? I honestly find the concept of time breaks really interesting. It is interesting, but to me it's kind of like just putting lipstick on a pig, right? It's a retcon, right? But they're trying to find an in-lore way of explaining it, so they come up with this dragon break. The concept of it is interesting if you take it at face value, right? And then you're like, okay, there's this big event that changes reality and kind of merges timelines and things like that. Like, okay, that is pretty big. That's pretty epic sci-fi, like time travel, parallel reality stuff that, you know, it can keep you up at night if you're thinking about it too much. The problem is it kind of rarely makes sense on any kind of physics level. And in this case, I just can't get over the fact that it's just a retcon. It's just a retcon. They're just changing their lore just because they couldn't figure out how to write around it, you know? Can't do mobile games either. Yeah, they're two different guys. I mean, I used to like dick around with like Angry Birds and World of Goo, but those were kind of like designed to be mobile experiences, and they just didn't hold my interest. I kind of want to sit down with a controller in my hand and have like an epic journey, you know? Let's see what this cave is. Or at least have some kind of compelling gameplay loop that allows me to work on my skills and get better at the game, or kind of chase like high scores, or with old arcade games going for that one credit clear. I like getting better at stuff. Subterranean hot. I think this is a hidden hideouts. Yeah, this is definitely a hidden hideouts thing because it's conflicting with whatever terrain mod I have going on right now. Can't get in there. It's not a door. I think this is just third person, better third person selection putting that button on there. I should just be able to collide with wherever the entrance is, but let's do this. Quick save. I think the skull worship the Allmaker, who is the Godhead, the celestial being who's dreaming up everything going on in the Elder's world. Or am I thinking way off? You know, I'm not sure. Yeah, we can do that, Magus, but I was gonna see if I could just clip through here to try to find that trigger, that portal. Yeah, it's behind the rock wall. Oh boy. No, that's what I was saying. That's part of better third-person selection that adds the button to the notification. In the vanilla game, it wouldn't have that button on there. It would just say to soul slime, and you just walk through it. It's a cave entrance, right? It's not an actual door that you have to click on. Well, I still have TCL enabled. It's just a quirk of better third-person selection. It puts that button on everything. Yeah, so let's see. One of them is hidden hideouts. The other one's got to be some kind of terrain mod or something. Oh shit! I just wasn't. I wasn't looking in the wrong spot. I had to go up higher. No, we're good. No patch needed. I just didn't see it. I was trying to get in from down here. It's just that reach on that selection mod is just so long. Yeah, we're good. If I go back up around this way. Angry Birds was awesome. Yeah, that was addictive too. Glad I got off of that. I would eat up so much of my battery life on my phone playing that game. Okay, let's see what else is on the map over here. We got a hut over here. We also have Kagrimez that I haven't found yet, and that's where the Dwarven Black Bow of Fate is, and that's kind of the main reason I'm here. Trying to get the Dwarven Black Bow of Fate, and also here we have some kind of cryomancer or something chasing me down. I see you. Is that an Imperial? Ooh, a high elf with a shield. A shield mage, huh? Oh, she's sleepy too. No, the ragdoll effect got her. Killed by game mechanics. What a way to go. I'd be so mad if that were me. It's happened. It's definitely happened to me before. I've been there. That's why I'm commiserating so much. But, you know, that's what she gets for attacking me. The candy game with the gummy, was that Candy Crush? I never got into that one. But people love that one. I think that probably actually makes more money than Call of Duty, if I saw from that merger. Call of Duty got all of the attention when that Microsoft and Blizzard merger went through. But really that King, it's the King division of it that they have that does Candy Crush is the big money maker for them. That was the real jewel that they got in that merger. Yeah, Candy Crush, I think Puzzles and Dragons was one that people were really into for a while. It's like, okay, they're fun games. Most of them are like kind of gacha games though, where the whole purpose is to sell you microtransactions, which is why they make so much money. And after a certain point, it's like, okay, now it's like that kind of runs its course, where it's like the whole game is gimped unless you buy something and keep buying stuff. And a lot of those mobile games are like that. Angry Birds wasn't. That was a game you just bought, you had it in your inventory, and then there was just a bunch of stuff that you could go through and unlock. Same with World of Goo. Of course, BGS being BGS, I think Fallout... Oh, here's Kagrimez. There are a couple of bandits, a couple of reavers out here anyway, that carry some of the resonance gems with them. I think I have one already. There's apparently another one in Nichardak. that I missed. This one I bought from the dude with the Silt Strider over here outside of Tel Mithrin. So there's 2 more around this area. And there's another one in another dwarven, I think, Falbathars. That's probably out here somewhere. I don't even have it on my map yet. And I think once you get 4 of them, then you can unlock enough of the Kagramez dungeon to get to the dwarven black bow. Hey, Icarus, welcome, buddy. That tasted purple. You look like a dwarf from Deep Rock Galactic. I'll take it. A little tall for a dwarf, more like a Nord, but hey, dwarves have some awesome beards too. The Scream Lords, Fusro Dodd, the ever living daylights ragdolling you into the Shadow Realm. Yeah, I know those things. Seekers. Must be one of the few people that has no interest in playing games on my phone device. I've been due for an upgrade for so long, but I'm like, why? Yeah, so I'm an Android guy. I like the Samsung phones. I think this is like an S23. So I'm a few years behind too. Smartphones are so expensive now. They're way more expensive than they used to be. Even before all the tariffs and stuff. I think it was because providers stopped providing these huge discounts on when you would like sign up for a subscription, a service subscription. They would give you like a huge discount on buying a phone. They stopped doing that. Now they're putting a lot of value on trade-ins, which is nice. It kind of brings the cost of these new phones down. As long as it powers up, they'll give you a few $100s for it at least. So that's nice. But yeah, the main thing is like this one still works fine. It still operates, it performs well. The camera still looks really good and all that. It's just that the power port wears out on them.
Not good enough.
There we go. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I be the warrior Skyrim guru on YouTube? I really love melee gameplay in this game. I get it, right? It's kind of unrefined a little bit. It gets to be a little loosey-goosey, and that's why. Oh yeah, here's the 2 gems that I was talking about. And that's why a lot of people love like these modern combat overhauls and lock-on systems and stuff like that to make the game feel more like the Dark Souls games, which the combat is much more refined, better balanced as far as difficulty and stuff go.
I often wonder where we'd be if the Dwemer
but I don't know.
were still
I just love melee in Skyrim, especially with the Skyrim overhauls, because you can build around it and make it a ton of fun. Hey, thanks for the Icarus shout out, Magus. Yeah, Icarus is a lot of fun. His character concepts are really top notch. We were talking about Couch Warrior earlier. Icarus is one of the content creators kind of carrying that torch with these super in-depth, really well thought out character concepts that he really goes to the next level and getting the aesthetics for these characters up and running too. Yeah, good stuff. I'm an Icarus fan. That's my rallying standard. Let's see, where do I need to put these? Middle left and bottom right corner. And then be ready for the automata that come out. You might be trying to zippity zap me, so I'll bring out Spellbreaker for this one. Magus is an Icarus fan too. Nice. Icarus does his dark character concepts really well, with the way that he sets them up, with especially the way they look, and you know, of course, the dark storytelling behind them. But yeah, just the way that he makes his vampires and dark mages look are really inspiring and motivating for me to try to do as well with my own. Rasherito! Man, Rasherito, you crashed my game. I suck at Skyrim, unfortunately. No, you're good. You're good. I can tell that you're uncomfortable with the melee combat, which is kind of like my whole wheelhouse, right? But you're really good with the range stuff, and like I said, your character concepts and the way that you set up your aesthetics are really top notch. Crashed out, sure did. That's an unfortunate reality of modded Skyrim. It doesn't happen often. We got almost 3 hours into this stream. This is the first time it's happened. Let's see, what does the crash log say? Kagramez cell ELE. Lighting. Yeah, that's fine. Probably just a fluke, I'm guessing. We'll clear out the overwrite, start her back up. We say it melee. Because America. I don't know how to say it correctly. It was somebody correcting me up here. Melee? I don't know. I've always said melee. They have a built-in point of failure on their recharge point? That sucks. I call people, I text them, I peruse Instagram, but that's really about it. I'm running a Samsung S9. Wow, you're way behind the times, dude. It seems to be running just fine. Yeah, cool. Talking about up-to-date phones, I have a working POS iPhone SE. The thing has awesome battery life, but does everything else like hot garbage. But it was free. Yeah, no, I mean, if you don't do much on your phone, then you don't need much, right? Crasherito, there you go. I like it. Well done, Magus. Was watching Icarus early this morning. Oh, it was Icarus streaming, or are you watching one of his videos? I know Icarus doesn't stream very much. I've seen him stream a few times. I got a lot of telemarketing phone calls lately. Anybody else? I haven't been getting them for a while, and then all of a sudden, just recently, they all started just freaking popping up all over the place. Really, Lydia? Where would be enslaved? That's where, yeah, dwarves were, they were rough, man. I use my phone the most when I'm pooping in the morning. Yeah. Same. No, actually, I have a pair of wireless earbuds, the Beats ones. They're not overpriced like the AirBuds are. And they sound great. I use them a lot for like podcasts and stuff when I'm doing chores around the house or in the yard or whatever. You got to be careful about that, Magus, though, because you spend, if you're on the phone or you're messing around on your phone on the toilet, you might spend way too much time on that toilet seat, and that can give you that deep vein thrombosis or whatever they call it. Blood clots in your legs, man. Don't spend too much time on the toilet. I hate the word melee. I say melee, whatever. Yeah, if people know what you're talking about. None of them sound right. They don't sound like real words, right? It's just that they're all made up. It's probably French or something. The M word, yeah, pretty much. Beats are pretty solid. Yeah, they are. I've been buying our new info last few years, and this is what to expect for the next few. Let's see here. Telemarketing even in the UK, Jesus. Is that what that is? Didn't you notice the meta shift on Facebook? I've been off Facebook for a while. I still have a profile up, but I rarely ever look at it unless somebody like sends me a message or something. It's almost all ads now. Yeah, I freaking believe it. No fun. Because that's just the realities of publicly shared companies and market economy. These big companies have to grow perpetually, so they always have to find new ways of making more money every year. And if they can't get the money directly from us, then they do it in the form of advertising. I don't want to take that dwarven stuff. Dwemer gear. Drop that. Take this opportunity to drop a bunch of shit that we don't need. Center left, bottom right corner. I mean, a lot of websites are almost all ads now. It's even worse trying to look through it on, like, do a Google search. Like, the top 4 or 5 results that you get are all sponsored. Like I said, I haven't really browsed Facebook much recently, but I could imagine that's kind of the same way, just sponsored shit everywhere. Instagram probably the same way. Thundering blow. That's why this one uses DuckDuck instead of Google. DuckDuckGo, huh? Whole world slowly turning into Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, it is. Well, they're already working on the cybernetic stuff. It's closer to reality than most of us probably think. Some werewolf shame, demon hunter. Let's see. I want to see what Rasharito's talking about here. We're probably talking about Skyrim builds, and I like that stuff. Oh, you're talking about Icarus. Watched his newest video, the Vampire Necro. I think that one came out yesterday, right? It's in my watch later queue. I just haven't gotten there yet. And the Ashaba Redguard finale. Oh, we got the finale for that one already, huh? Oh, that one might have happened earlier in the week. I think I saw that one. To go back and watch it though to refresh myself. I gave up Facebook like 5 years ago and my life has improved tenfold. Yeah, I mean, social media for the most part, I mean, it's hard to avoid, right? It's like I'm off of Facebook now. I have an Instagram just because my wife likes to send me like clips, like funny clips and stuff, and I'm down for that. So whenever I click on one of her links, I can actually see it. But like the time that I was spending on Facebook back in the day, it's like now I'm on Discord and YouTube, and that's just social media like anything else. So it's still part of it. I just try to consume it in ways that I'm not getting bombarded with ads all the time, you know? We'll be stronger, faster. Yes. Hard to avoid, but one can mediate it. Yeah, you got to realize what you're getting out of it and what you want to use it for, and just stick to that. If you get sucked into, you know, all the different contentious topics and things like that, your life is going to be miserable, right? You gotta figure out what you want to use this stuff for,
Did you hear something?
And focus on that. So Facebook is great for things like setting up groups, like for hobby groups and stuff like that, but you can do that with Discord anymore without all the baggage. Discord's going the same way. Holy crap. Holy crap. I don't know what's going on. Crashed in the same spot. The crash log's probably going to say pretty much the same thing. Facebook also works well for like keeping in touch with family members and setting up like holiday events and stuff when you're trying to get people to, you know, bring potluck stuff and things like that. Set up a group, an event group for it, and say what you're bringing and who's going to make it and all that, and that's fine. I still use Facebook for that every now and then. The game is trying to tell you time for a break. Yeah, we got only 5 minutes left in my window anyway. Try to get through this off stream. I have not had an issue with this in my current load order at all. ELE is it's probably overloading light sources with the glowing electricity from those worker drones, is my guess. Too much zippity zap in one space. Yeah, a lot of really unfiltered opinions from people that you used to like. This is one quick way to end friendships. Yeah, just face-to-face interaction. You get to, you know, keep mutual respect and things like that. It's good stuff. Yeah, all right. I think I'm going to call it here, guys. Let's see. Throughout the week, I was watching Magus Redguard streams. Don't remember the name of the series. Windsong Dirge. I've only seen like 2 or 3 streams because I've been so busy with work, and he tends to stream during the middle of the day, and I'm not always able to make it, but I do show up when I can to those. And from what I saw of that build, it was great, and the character. And I do know the title off the top of my head, so I'm paying attention. Windsong Dirge, the Cyrus build, which is a character that he has played in the past that is making a resurgence. Mobile here and popping now. Ooh, popping. Okay, guys, that's it for me. If you liked hanging around with these people, check the links in the description below. A lot of people have YouTube channels, Twitch channels. There's also a Discord server for my channel where you can continue, you know, talking about builds and stuff like that. Go ahead, feel free to join up. You got to prove you're not a bot, and then you're in there to talk with anybody. Get a preview of the builds that I'm working on, and any build or any video that I release, Discord will get it a day early. I leave it unlisted on YouTube so that the Discord fam gets the first crack at it, and then I release it publicly the day after. So if you want to get first crack at these videos, go ahead and join the Discord. I think that's it, guys. This was a good stream, a lot of fun. It made some, you know, decent progress. We got through a black book at least and unlocked some quests, which I'll have to do off stream because we're having technical difficulties here. But yeah, hopefully I can get through this. May the moons guide your path safely. You as well, Tom. All right, guys, I'll see you around probably next week. Stay tuned, and I'll talk to you then. See you again.